regular season starts, and time is running out for players to leave an impression with their managers. Today, it's the Tampa Bay Rays and the Toronto Blue Jays. Next. Another gorgeous day for baseball at Florida Auto Exchange Stadium, where the Blue Jays get set to take on the Tampa Bay Rays. Fans young and old heading their way into the ballpark, and I'll tell you something, with the heat we are experiencing today in Dunedin, sunscreen, hats, and sunglasses are definitely a must. Hi everyone, welcome to Blue Jays Baseball on Sportsnet. I'm Barry Davis. And it seems an off-season does not go by without the Tampa Bay Rays making wholesale changes. And this year was no exception. Have a look at the list of names the Rays have lost. Among them, some key starters: Will Myers, Yunel Escobar, and pitcher Jeremy Hellickson. But the biggest change of all comes in the dugout, where longtime manager Joe Maddon is off to the Chicago Cubs, and taking his spot is rookie skipper Kevin Cash. For more on today's game, we send it upstairs now to Buck Martinez and Joe Siddall. And Buck, Cash is a guy you know quite well.
Well, I sure do, Barry. Kevin Cash was a young catcher with us in 2002 right here in Dunedin. He was a good-looking young catching prospect. We'll talk more about Kevin Cash as this game goes on. But, Joe, there's still a lot of questions unanswered here in spring training, but I thought we would focus on first base and second base as the competition has become a little clearer lately.
Well, with the injuries to the veterans at second base, both Meister Turris and Ramon Santiago, it has really opened up opportunities for Ryan Goins and Devin Travis, and both of them are taking full advantage, both offensively and defensively. Travis came over in that trade from the Tigers with the reputation as an offensive second baseman, but he has been flashing the leather now as well. And at first base, with the injury to Edwin Encarnacion, who knows when he'll be back, but Justin Smoke and Derek Martin are duking it out. They're looking to potentially split time as a platoon situation with Danny Valencia over there. Both of these guys are starting to heat up with the bats as well.
Danny Valencia will start at first base this afternoon. Today we're going to see two 20-year-old pitchers that have really opened up a lot of eyes here in spring training.
Well, the Toronto Blue Jays have a couple of prized prospects right here, and this is something to be very excited about. Two 20-year-olds. Osuna will get the start today. Going 2 or 3 innings, expect to see all 4 pitches. He's got the slider and the changeup to go with the fastball, but he's also working on a cutter, getting in on lefties. Miguel Castro has been nothing but outstanding.
Both of these youngsters have a chance to make this ball club. Another gorgeous day here in Florida. The Rays and the Jays will meet for a 4th and final time this afternoon. Lineups and first pitch coming up next.
It's the 24 men standing next to me, plus 35 million strong. The Atlantic to the Pacific. It's about doing whatever it takes. One nation, one team, come together.
Go with me now! Find your game at sportsnet.ca/schedule.
Welcome back to beautiful Dunedin, Florida. It's a gorgeous Sunday afternoon here in Florida. Blue Jays and Rays are meeting for the fourth and final time. Let's take a look at the Blue Jays, at the Kevin Cash lineup for the Rays. Cash is 37 years old. He is the youngest manager in Major League Baseball. In fact, he's the youngest manager or head coach in any of the four major sports. Take a look at his lineup today. Top of the order, John Jace, who is the DH. Casilla, Jennings, then Evan Longoria, a great third baseman. Loney, Butler, Brown, Beckham, and Bonnie Wilson behind the plate. That rounds out the lineup for the Rays. And today's starting pitchers are brought to you by Scott's Weed Be Gone. This spring, knock weeds out of your park with Scott's Weed Be Gone. Kills weeds, not lawn.
20-year-old Osuna making his fifth appearance as his first start of the spring. And the Blue Jays certainly have high hopes for this young man to be with the big league club very soon.
First pitch is outside. John Jace, who's the DH this afternoon. Osuna just 20 years old. In fact, he turned 20 on February 7th. Pops this one in the air behind second. Center fielder Dalton Pompey gets there, one down. Take a look at the rest of the defense. Steve Tallison is in left field. He gets a start there this afternoon. Pompey and Bautista in center and right, respectively. On the infield, it's Donaldson, Reyes, Travis, and Danny Valencia over at first base. Kind of plate, Russell Martin, and on the mound, Roberto Osuna.
Devin Travis has really impressed John Gibbons this spring. He knew he could hit, but he's really impressed him defensively. A couple of outstanding plays yesterday in Clearwater against the Phillies.
This is Alexi Casilla. He goes after the first pitch and pops it up. Russell Martin into foul ground gives way to Donaldson, who called him off, and Casilla is out on one pitch. Two quick outs for Osuna here in the top of the first. Well, Osuna is coming back from Tommy John surgery. He had surgery in 2013, and I don't think anybody expected him to capture your imagination the way he has this spring.
No, he hasn't. What a great arm. He'll be around 94, 95 with the fastball. He's got the slider and the changeup, but he's also working on a cutter.
And that's what he does that really impresses me. He commands the inside part of the plate to right him.
That's one thing he needs to do with the left-handers who use that cutter, to get in on the hands and open up the other side of the plate for him.
That's his good changeup. Missed ball on the strike. This is Desmond Jennings. He was the leadoff man in 73 games for them a year ago. Kevin Cash is going to drop him down in the order. This ball is hammered to left field, and Tollison's going to play it off the wall. One hops the bottom of the fence. Desmond Jennings continues to wear out the Blue Jays. Jennings has hit the Blue Jays well ever since he came into the league.
Well, another good fastball by Osuna, but you see where it is, middle in, about thigh high. That ball's got to be down in the zone. Russell Martin really particularly getting low. He'll get down to one knee at times just to really impress the bottom of the strike zone.
Jennings has 10 career home runs against the Blue Jays, 7 of those coming at Rogers Center. He just loves anytime he sees that Blue Jay uni. So Evan Longoria, the cleanup man, steps in. Longoria having a good spring, 360 average. He had a healthy season a year ago, 22 homers and 91 driven in. But you can see his on-base percentage not exactly where he would like it to be at .320. Longoria, one of the premier players in all of baseball. Terrific defender, great clutch hitter. Check swing foul at home plate.
The Rays really need a rebound from Longoria this season. This is a team that struggled to score runs. They rely heavily on their pitching, especially their starting rotation, which has taken a few nicks this spring as well, but just a team that has trouble scoring runs.
Kevin Cash is trying to figure out the offense by dropping Jennings down into the third spot this afternoon. Changeup hits Longoria right in the middle of the back. So after getting 2 quick outs, Osuna gives up a double and hits Longoria, so there are 2 aboard for James Loney.
Russell Martin talked this morning about a game plan with Osuna, probably utilizing all of his pitches, having a chat with him, but you can see this pitch just got away from him. It's a secondary pitch. It's the changeup, and hold that whole hand on the baseball. Sometimes you don't command it as well, and that one clearly got away from Osuna.
So Russell Martin back out to the mound, and Osuna was not scheduled to start in this game. It was originally scheduled for Marco Estrada, but Estrada in a fielding drill twisted his ankle. He's been pushed back. It's nothing serious, but Pete Walker said, okay, let's just give Osuna the start and we'll get him out there for 3 innings. So he wasn't really thinking about starting this game until yesterday. James Maloney, the veteran first baseman, now 30 years old, goes after the first pitch. Maloney's been a nice addition to this Rays ball club. You can count on him. He's consistent. 290 again last year.
How about Russell Martin? First pitch to Loney is a fastball inside after hitting the previous hitter, Evan Longoria, challenging the youngster on the mound.
Ground ball. Valencia scoops it up. Should end the inning, and it does. The Rays get a double. They leave 2. We'll go to the bottom of the first inning. Good inning for Osuna.
Now it's time to turn it over to the master.
Spring so far. The bats are starting to come along. Josh Donaldson homered in the game yesterday against the Phillies. Blue Jays are 11-8 for the spring. Here's a look at their lineup. Reyes, Martin, Bautista, top of the order. Donaldson drops down into the cleanup spot today. Danny Valencia is having a good spring at first base. Deanna Navarro is the DH this afternoon. Donaldson starting in left. Travis and Pompey. A couple of youngsters round out the lineup.
And on mound for the Rays, 30-year-old left-hander Everett Teaford, having a good spring, pitching in 4 games in relief for the Rays this spring, giving up just 1 earned run in 6 2/3 innings pitched. Spent last season pitching in Korea after spending the first 8 years of his pro career in the Royals system.
Signed by the Rays on January 16th this year, so he was a late addition to their roster, trying to impress Kevin Cash and Jim Hickey, the pitching coach. Of course, the Rays have some pitching concerns right now. Jose Reyes had a great day at the plate yesterday. He hit the first pitch of the ball game against Cole Hamels out of the ballpark for a home run. One of 2 hits he had in 4 at-bats. He had 4 good at-bats. He lined out a couple of times, and just everything he offered at, he hit hard. Just like that. That ball is in the gap. They're going to have to hustle to keep Reyes from getting to second, and here's the slide by Reyes. A leadoff double.
Jose Reyes is going up hacking. He'll swing at the first pitch many times, and he hits for high average on the first pitch. He doesn't wait around too long against Teaford here. This is a fastball right out over the plate. Jose puts a good swing on it, tees off. He's looking for the fastball. If he gets it early in the count, he will do damage.
Reyes, one of the preeminent leadoff men with extra base power and speed to really set the table for the rest of this lineup. Russell Martin's in the 2 spot. It seems as though that's where John Gibbons likes him best so far. Russell's been working hard on staying back, trying to eliminate that sense of lunging toward the pitcher.
And this is a perfect situation when you're working on something like that, letting the ball travel. Russell's going to try to shoot something to the right side here, move Reyes over to third.
That's a tough pitch to hit to the right side. That breaking ball down and in. Ball and a strike to the Blue Jays catcher. Everett Teaford, as Joe mentioned, pitched in Korea last year. The Royals sold his contract to the LG Twins. This is a tough lineup for anybody to work through.
Well, it is. And Russell right now is still looking for a pitch, something over the plate to move that runner over. And he knows in that 2-hole, followed by Bautista and Donaldson, that run is as good as in if he can move over Reyes to third.
The Blue Jays have a new hitting coach in Brooke Jacoby, and Jacoby has impressed upon his players. There are two things I'm concerned about: scoring runs and driving in runs. So take advantage of these opportunities, and Martin certainly has a great opportunity with a 3-1 count. Ground ball to the right side. Kiefert is there, and Martin does the job. So Reyes is at third with 1 out. Let's take a look at the rest of the Tampa Bay defense. In the outfield, Jennings, Brown, and Joey Butler in right. Bo Glover at third base has Evan Longoria. Tim Beckham, former #1 pick at shortstop. Alexei Casillas at short. James Loney, a terrific defender at first, and Bobby Wilson. Last year, he spent some time with the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Desmond Jennings moving over to left field after predominantly playing center field the last couple of years, making room for Kevin Kiermaier to play center for the Rays this season.
Jose Bautista. Ground ball to third, just like that. The Blue Jays are going to get a run. Perfect execution by the Jays. Leadoff double, ground ball to the right side, and Bautista picks up the RBI.
This is exactly what you're talking about, Buck, when you talk about the game plan of Brooke Jacoby as a hitting coach. Collectively, how do we get this run in? Russell Martin had an opportunity with a 3-1 count to get a good pitch and try to drive it wherever over the field. He didn't. He stayed back. He let that ball travel. Just hit a few hopper over to first base, moves him over. Bautista picks up the ribby.
It really says a lot when your best players take that approach. It's going to spread up and down the lineup. 2 outs. Josh Donaldson homered yesterday against the Phillies. Takes the first pitch breaking ball for a strike. Donaldson, of course, picked up in that offseason trade with the Oakland Athletics. 29 homers, 98 ribbies last season. Bouncing ball, wicked hop for Longoria. What a play. Evan Longoria flashing that gold glove down at third, but the Blue Jays are on the board, and Brooke Jacoby's a happy hitting coach.
Blue Jays Spring Training on Sportsnet. Brought to you by Scott's Coated Grass Seed. This spring, build up your outfield, even if you miss a day of watering, with Scott's Coated Grass Seed.
We are in Dunedin, Florida, and that's here over in St. Petersburg, not far from here. Beautiful afternoon. A lot of fans on hand for this exhibition game. Blue Jays have a 1-0 lead. Roberto Osuna, the young right-hander, got the start. Pitched out of a 2-out, 2-on situation in the first. There's a breaking ball to Joey Butler. Butler's in right field. He is 29 years old. Played most of his career in the minor leagues. He has 76 career minor league home runs. Pops this one back. Osuna is a quick worker, Joe.
He gets the ball and he gets going, and that credit too to Russell Martin behind the plate. As a catcher, you have to know what tempo works for your pitcher. Martin knows that Osuna likes to get it and go. Put the sign down and roll.
Breaking ball up the middle. That'll sneak through for a base hit. Joey Butler with a leadoff single.
Center fielder number 64, Corey Brown.
Off-speed pitch from Osuna again, just left that out over the plate. If you're throwing the slider or the cutter trying to get away from a righty, you want to start that on the outer half of the plate and have it go to the corner or just off. That time it started on the inner half, came right back over the middle for Butler.
Corey Brown is the center fielder this afternoon. He's 29 years old. He's a native of Tampa. What a good changeup. The thing that Russell Martin has been impressed with when he's talking about Osuna and Miguel Castro, who we'll see later, is their ability to throw their second and third pitches for strikes.
And when you can do that, pitch backwards a little bit, mix in a off-speed pitch, maybe in a fastball count when the hitter's looking for the heater.
Bounced in the dirt. Russell Martin catches every game in spring training like it was a World Series game. He takes nothing for granted. Ball's in the dirt, he smothers them. He just gets in a great work habit in spring training and carries on into the regular season. Ground ball, this should be two. Devin Travis to Reyes. Back to first, just like that. That leadoff single's erased. Travis has been impressive defensively so far in camp.
I spoke with Jose Reyes about the double play. I also spoke to Devin Travis. Middle infielders need to work together. This time Travis makes it fairly routine, flip to Reyes, but they like to know where you're going to flip the ball. I know Travis talked about liking field the ball on the right shoulder when he gets the feed from short. Reyes there getting the feed from second, has to know where it's coming from. That was routine for these two in the middle.
2 outs now. Tim Beckham, shortstop today, goes after the first pitch. Another pop-up into left field. Steve Tollison is there and waits on it. Another good inning for Roberto Osuna, pitching well beyond his years.
Fans, Blue Jays opening week presented by Honda is just around the corner as the Jays host these same Tampa Bay Rays April 13th to 16th. The Honda home opener is sold out, but for tickets for the remainder of the series, call 341-1234 or bluejays.com. Buck?
Thank you, Barry. Just around the corner, opening day at home. The Tampa Bay Rays will be the opponents during that 4-game opening set, and then the Atlanta Braves will be in town for the weekend series, 17th, 18th, and 19th, so make sure you get your tickets now. Danny Valencia, the first baseman, leads things off. Valencia had a great day at the plate yesterday in that game against Philadelphia. He went 3 for 4, also starting at first.
A couple of those hits coming off right-handers, and that's big for Valencia. He's hit left-handers very well, not so well against righties.
Ball on his strike. Brooke Jacoby spoke to Danny Valencia about that and said, you know what, let's don't let anybody put a label on you. Let's try to fix that problem against righties and see if you can't become an everyday player.
That's what prevents Valencia from being that everyday player. When you have great success against lefties, but not so much against righties, you do get that label, but it also becomes fact. So he's working with Jacoby on doing that. Danny's the kind of guy that can play around the field a little bit, too.
Little tapper up the third baseline. That'll trickle into foul ground. Well, Valencia's got good pop. He's got a lot of power, and I think that's what's intriguing for the Blue Jays. Between Kansas City and Toronto last year, only had 4 home runs, but he's got a lot of thunder in that bat.
I talked to him about that label as a platoon-type player, and it's not a label that he's very happy with. He wants to be better, and that's why he's working tirelessly with Blue Jays hitting coaches, both Brooke Jacoby and Eric Owens, and doing what he can to have more success against righties, getting that lineup every day.
Breaking ball foul. Tip. Bobby Wilson hangs on to it. Valencia strikes out, 1 down.
Number 30, Diana Navarro.
So Diana Navarro, the former Ray catcher, he was part of that great Rays team in 2008. Played the Phillies in the World Series. Having a good spring. He was slowed a bit. Had a bit of a knee problem for a while. Probably missed 4 or 5 days of work. He's a switch hitter batting right-handed against Steve.
DeHonor expressed his displeasure early in camp at the signing of Russell Martin. He thought he was the everyday catcher, but he said it's over with and he's ready to move on now. He said his piece and he's going to go about his business, do the best he can, whether he's playing for the Blue Jays or if he's dealt somewhere else. He'll be ready to go.
Had a terrific season a year ago, and I think that's why he was a little bit ambushed at the signing of Russell Martin. I think we were all a little bit surprised given the fact that Navarro was signed for this season and had his best season. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Janner a year ago hit .274 with the career high 69 RBIs. I think the biggest thing is that he played in 139 games. Takes one just off the plate inside. He had not played in 100 games since 2009 when he was with the Rays.
And that was the big thing when they signed, the Blue Jays signed DeHonor to that 2-year contract. Can he play every day? That was the plan, but he did indeed hold up.
Full count. Pulled foul. Well, he was a very good clutch hitter. He did a great job of handling some of the younger pitchers. Worked very well with Drew Hutchison. Worked well with Stroman and Sanchez when they joined the ball club. This is popped up and back on the screen, out of play.
And it's no disrespect to DeHonor, but when you have an opportunity to acquire a Russell Martin, one of the elite catchers in the game, and also a catcher that has come from a winner. He's been to the playoffs 7 of his 9 years in the big leagues. This is a true winner. We've seen it already here in a couple of innings. Behind the plate, blocking balls, handling Osuna, also with the bat shooting that runner over unselfishly.
Cut on and miss. A couple of strikeouts for Tiefert here in the second.
Tiefert thought he had Navarro earlier this time, coming right back in there. Didn't quite get it where he wanted, but it worked for that good little 2-seam movement.
Tiefert's not going to overpower you. He's got to locate and create some movement. That time he got that ball to sink down and away. Steve Tollefson. Tollefson was a good extra man for the Blue Jays a year ago. He has a home run so far this spring. Hit .253 coming off the bench and filling in for John Gibbons. One and two outs. We're in the bottom of the second inning. Blue Jays scored a run on a Bautista ground out in the first. Steve Tolleson is now 31 years old. He's the son of former big leaguer Wayne Tolleson, who had a terrific career. Tolleson has had time with Oakland in the big leagues in 2010 and Baltimore in 2012, and last year was his first taste of big league action since that stint with the Orioles. Off the plate inside. Be interesting to see how this roster is going to set up. There's still a lot of unanswered questions. You're going to carry 3 catchers. You're going to have Russell Martin catch R.A. Dickey. Bouncing ball. Loney knocks it down and goes for the bag. Quick inning for Everett Teaford. We'll move to the third. 1-0 Jays.
Raptors basketball today on Sportsnet. The Raps playing host to the New York Knicks as they continue to make their push to the postseason. It all gets underway at 4 o'clock Eastern, 1 o'clock Pacific. Buck?
Thank you, Barry. Good basketball action coming up right after this ball game later on today. Bobby Wilson, the catcher, will start things off for the Rays. Wilson came up through the Angels system. Last year he spent time in AAA with the Diamondbacks, played at Reno. Terrific defensive catcher. The Rays are going to have Rene Rivera do most of their catching. He was acquired in the offseason from San Diego, and Bobby Wilson trying to latch on as a backup catcher.
Kurt Casale spent time last year also in Tampa. He's in that battle with Wilson.
Wilson threw out an astonishing 54% of the runners last year in AAA. Anytime you get anybody around 30%, you've got a good defensive catcher. 50% is off the chart.
And that's what you want in your backup as most positions, but especially behind the plate. You're not looking for the offense. You're looking for a guy that can call the game, handle the pitching staff, do a good job behind the plate, throw a few runners out.
1-2. Fastball upstairs. Osuna has a knack that you don't see with young pitchers very often, is he can add and subtract on his pitches.
And that's a key, because just when you're sitting fastball as a hitter, if you're throwing 95, 96 and you pull back a little bit, maybe go 92, 93, that's just enough to throw a hitter off who's sitting dead red.
You just get so many awkward swings when Osuna's on the mound, and he has really pitched himself into the picture here in spring training.
And you talked about it earlier, the ability to throw off-speed pitches anytime in the count. That's very advanced stuff. You don't get that from a 20-year-old. That's usually a veteran that's been in the big leagues for a few years. But to have success at the major league level, he'll need to do that. But that's why this kid's being considered already.
Well, he's not your normal 20-year-old. He pitched professionally as a 16-year-old in Mexico. Look at that changeup. That is a wipeout changeup with 2 strikes. And Bobby Wilson strikes out.
And the reason a changeup is such a great secondary pitch, probably Osuna's best, is because it has the same rotation as a fastball. So this pitch looks 96 coming in. That's what Osuna's been throwing. But as it approaches home plate and through the hitting zone, the ball just dies into the ground, hit her way up front.
John Jaso popped out his first time up. He's the DH this afternoon.
That's the cutter right there. He tried to get that ball in on the hands of Jaso. Didn't cut too much, and it stayed up in the zone. He got the call and got away with it. Not ideal, but Russell Martin will continue going to it.
Just missed. 2 balls and a strike to the veteran John Jaso. Boy, he makes quality pitches, and you see him and literally you shake your head going, wow, he's in a tough spot, hitter count, and he paints the corner with a good fastball. Another good changeup. 2-2 changeup, second strikeout of the inning.
And this is what the luxury of having a Russell Martin behind the plate. He's handling this young man today and getting the most of him. He's thrown all the pitches here to Jaso. Paints the corner, 96 on the fastball. It comes back. Changeup right there. It was almost ditto to what he just did to Bobby Wilson, the previous hitter.
2 outs. Off the plate inside to Alexei Casilla. Osuna comes by it honestly. His father, Roberto, pitched 22 years in the Mexican professional leagues, and his uncle, Antonio Osuna, pitched 11 years in the majors. So he's been around pitching his whole life. Roberto picked up a save his last time out against the Yankees in a 4-2 game. He got 2 quick outs. And then Jose Pirela hit a triple off him, but he struck Nick Noonan out to end the game with a tying run at the plate. Another changeup.
It's one thing to be able to throw 95 to 97 miles per hour, but if you don't have a secondary pitch, hitters will sit on the fastball. And we've seen big league hitters can hit 97 miles per hour, but when you have these secondary pitches, and he's shown it already here, it's only the 3rd inning, but he's got a complete repertoire.
Weak pop-up behind second. Travis out, backpedaling into the outfield. Gets there. It ends the inning. 3 up, 3 down for Osuna. 3 good innings of work so far.
TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, is now available. Watch over 250 spring training games in every regular season game live or on demand in true HD. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit BlueJays.com for more details. And the guy you can hear right beside me, guys, is the ever-popular Munenori Kawasaki.
Mooney is the most popular Blue Jay here in spring training, and it's true at Rogers Center as well. Everybody loves it when Mooney comes into a game. Devin Travis is trying to reach that stature, making a name for himself here early in the spring. Travis is the youngster that was acquired in a trade with the Detroit Tigers that sent Anthony Ghost to Detroit. What are your impressions of Travis?
Very good. Talked to John Gibbons about that. He came with the reputation as an offensive second baseman. They knew he could hit, but John's really impressed with the glove work.
He just missed hitting a home run yesterday over at Bright House Field against the Phillies. Hit it off the top of the fence in deep center field.
Made a couple of outstanding plays at second base yesterday, too, in Clearwater.
Another ball drilled to left field. That's going to get down and go all the way to the wall. Travis is headed for second. Jennings plays it back into the cutoff man, and he continues to swing a red-hot bat. That's his 6th double this spring.
One thing Travis continues to do is he impresses me with his at-bats because he gets good pitches to hit. That's very uncanny for a young player. He doesn't expand a strike zone. Looking for a pitch out over the plate here, he gets it, but he puts a good swing on it. Young hitters will expand that zone and chase a little bit. Haven't seen Travis do that. Very advanced.
He's young in experience. He is not young by his age. He's 24 years old. He played collegiately at Florida State. He's a Florida native. Listed at 5'9". He's got a little pop in that bat. So here's Dalton Pompey. Let's see if he picked up from Russell Martin's at bat in the first inning. He shows bunt and fouls it off. He's thinking about moving Travis along.
Looks like Pompey is trying to move Travis along with the bunt, but he might be trying to bunt for a base hit. Got caught leaving the batter's box there. Tiford's pitch bears in on him, and this is the type of pitch you've got to watch your fingers. See Dalton, he's running and thinking of going to first base already. More importantly, to get that ball down first to make sure you advance that runner and then go ahead and take off to first base. Got to really be patient here in this situation.
Well, the Rays are in at the corners, and Longoria, even with the bag, and Loney at first is well in on the grass at first base, guarding against the bunt. No bunt here, but he was taking a shot to the right side. It's 0-2. Here's where you really got to grind, and this is where the Blue Jays want to see good at-bats from the guys in the bottom of their order.
That's exactly what you want from the bottom if you can get Travis to continue doing what he's doing offensively. But Dalton Pompey's in a situation here. If you can get the bunt down to move the runner, that would have been perfect, but he was unable to do that. Now he's got to battle with 2 strikes, but still try to put the ball in play to the right side.
Pompey is a switch hitter as well. There's the ground ball to the right side. That'll get a lot of high fives in the dugout. 1 out, Travis at third. Let's go down to Barry Davis.
The shortstop, number 7, Jose Alvarez.
One out. Reyes at the plate. Reyes doubled to lead off the game and scored on Bautista's ground ball to third. Infield is back. They'll concede a run here on a ground ball. Reyes bounces it off the pitcher's glove. And Travis is shooting for a home. What a piece of base running. Devin Travis just got an RBI for Jose Reyes with heads-up base running. That'll receive high marks in that dugout.
This is just outstanding. First of all, by Jose Reyes, taking what's given. The infield was back in the middle, so as a hitter, you want to try to keep the ball in the middle of the field. He did just that, but the pitcher, Tiford, made a great play to jump up there and get to it. But what a great read by Devin Travis at third base. Tiford saves the run right here, he thinks, but as he flips to first base, Devin Travis is cheating, anticipating that throw to first. He puts the pressure on James Loney, makes a bad throw home.
Speed has been very prominent in this camp so far for the Blue Jays. Pompey had a stolen base yesterday right there. Travis showing off his speed and, more importantly, his base running instincts. Russell Martin gets jammed, a little flare that's going to drop in left field. A 2-out base hit for Russell Martin. And the inning continues, and now you got the meat of the order coming to the plate.
And it really impresses you about Devin Travis because of the ability to read the play right there. This time Martin gets this pitch bearing in on his hands, got a little bit long right there and got jammed, but just lands into shallow left field.
Well, the Blue Jays' pedigree is all about home runs. But today, both of their runs have been manufactured. Good base running, good at-bats at the plate, and they're up 2-0.
You can leave the home runs to the big boys, but Jose Reyes getting on base, advancing earlier. Devin Travis, another double, but good base running, good baseball instincts by both of these runners scoring these 2 runs.
Jose Bautista picked up the RBI in his first at-bat, grounds this one to short. Beckham shovels to second. The inning is over, but the Blue Jays take a 2-0 lead. Good base running by the rookie, Devin Travis.
Jay Spring Training on Sportsnet. Brought to you by Scott's Coated Grass Seed. This spring, build up your outfield, even if you miss a day of watering, with Scott's Coated Grass Seed.
Welcome back to Florida, and it has been spectacular weather for about the last 2 weeks. Devin Travis is having a great time. He's a Florida native. He is now second on the team in doubles. He has 6 doubles for the spring, and saw a good piece of base running to help Reyes pick up that RBI.
Well, great base running. As a runner on third base, when that ball's hit back up the middle, normally you have to wait till that ball gets past the pitcher. He broke first, but then it got off the glove of Teaford, the pitcher. Teaford just was comfortable getting out at first base. Good baseball instinct by Travis, reading the play and scooting home with his speed.
Roberto Osuna back for a 4th inning of work. Misses inside with that fastball. 95 miles an hour, and that's easy. Jennings doubled to the alley in left center his first time up. Pops this one foul. Joe, what does it do to a hitter's mindset when a pitcher's standing on a rubber waiting to throw the next pitch?
He's saying, I'm coming to get you, and it's an intimidating factor. Much like a hitter can intimidate a pitcher, right now Osuna has these Rays right where he wants them. He's saying, step in the box, I've got all kinds for you. Everything's working for Roberto today.
Foul back out of play. He's back in the count. It's 2-2.
When you see that pitcher in his groove, we talked about it already. He's getting the ball back from Russell Martin. He is on the rubber waiting for the sign. This is when you're feeling good and you've got that rhythm. Russell is keeping it going for him.
No pace of game issues for Roberto Osuna. Missed upstairs with that fastball.
Pete Walker watching his pupil closely, but boy, is he ever impressed with both Osuna and Castro, who we will see next in this ballgame.
Changeup missed. A 3-2 changeup just missed downstairs. Let's check in with Barry Davis.
Well, guys, you were speaking about Devin Travis earlier, and when he was growing up in West Palm Beach, Florida, he really wasn't much of a baseball guy until his aunt began dating a player who was playing for the Atlanta Braves by the name of Matt Murray. So during spring training, he was there almost every day and said he really fell in love with the ball game, and soon after that, he picked up a glove, and you see now where that has led him. But Devin Travis really grew into becoming a huge baseball fan.
First pitch strike to Evan Longoria. Jennings at first, of course. He's a threat to run. He's a terrific base stealer. Well, Devin Travis, as we mentioned, he's played a lot of baseball and played twice in the College World Series with Florida State Seminoles. Longoria off the end of the bat.
Travis talked about that, playing at Florida State University, playing in the College World Series, and I asked him how that prepares a player professionally, and he said absolutely, playing on the big stage in front of a lot of people, great experience, and it certainly helped him get to where he is today.
Another changeup. This is popped up behind home plate. Martin will go back and make the catch just in front of the screen. Longoria pops up on another off-speed pitch, and Longoria is shaking his head as he walks back to the dugout.
Another good off-speed by Osuna. Nice job by Russell Martin going there. You don't want to over-pursue that ball towards the screen. Tiptoe back there. The spin of the baseball is always going to come back towards the field, but Russell was patient with that and able to bring it in right in front of that netting.
The Blue Jays got a double play back in the second. Double play situation here with Loney at the plate. He grounded out to first. His first time up today. There's so many things on your checklist when you're trying to evaluate a young pitcher like Roberto Osuna. First, you want to look at the stuff, obviously. How many strikes does he throw? Can he get his breaking balls over? Does he throw off-speed pitches in fastball counters? And then, does he hold runners? There's a jump at first base. Loney, a defensive swing. Hit and run was on. He moves the runner into scoring position. Loney's retired 4-3 on the ground out.
And this is indeed a hit and run. The runner's moving on the pitch. James Loney has to swing at this pitch. See the action by the middle infielders with the left-handed hitter, shortstop Jose Reyes covering the bag. Loney, instead of trying to shoot it the other way, came around that baseball, got out front, pulled it to Travis, and he'll get the sure out.
So Pete Walker is out of the dugout. Looks like that's going to bit for Roberto Osuna, and everybody coming in from the infield to congratulate him for a terrific start, his first in his young career in spring training. Good job by Osuna. Castro inherits a 2-out runner in second situation here. First time he's had to experience this spring.
Castro's pitched in 4 games this spring. He's only given up a couple of hits in his 6 2/3 innings. Batters with an average of less than 100, but very interesting for Castro here. Pete Walker goes to the bullpen. Osuna maybe hitting his pitch count, but very interesting here that Castro now is going to have to deal with a runner on second base. Perhaps Pete Walker simulating a situation that Castro may face if he makes this club and heads north.
I think that's exactly what they want to see. And what's he do? Throws a first pitch strike to Joey Butler. Like Osuna, Miguel Castro is just 20 years old. He turned 20 on January 5th. There's a changeup, and he's not all about power, just like Osuna.
He's got the high-powered fastball. He'll be 95 to 99. He's touched 3 digits at times, but his changeup is really his second-best pitch, and then the slider.
He's pitched 3 seasons in the minor leagues. Fly ball into right center. Pompey over. No problem for Castro. He backs up his buddy Osuna with an out to get out of the inning. 2-0 Jays.
Hockey fans, a great chance to see a man who many predict will be the #1 pick in the NHL draft, Connor McDavid. On Sportsnet 360 today, the Erie Otters take on the Niagara Ice Dogs, 3 o'clock Eastern, noon Pacific, and Buck Maple Leaf fans will have a keen eye on him when you consider where they are in the standings right now.
Well, they're getting closer and closer to that golden opportunity to develop a terrific young player. He's going to be probably the first pick overall. Jim Miller, new pitcher into the ballgame for the Rays, the veteran pitcher trying to hook on with Tampa Bay.
Pitched in 36 games in AAA last season. Couple of innings this spring. He's just given up a hit. Last pitch last Wednesday right here in Dunedin against the Blue Jays, throwing a scoreless inning.
Miller had his best season in 2012 while pitching with the Oakland A's. Pitched in 33 games, had a 2-run record with a .259 earned run, part of that postseason team in Oakland. So he knows this guy, Josh Donaldson. Ripped to left field. Donaldson jumps on that hanging breaking ball and hammers it for a leadoff single.
Miller knows Donaldson, but Josh Donaldson also knows Jim Miller. Looked like he was sitting on this breaking ball right here. Good hitters will do that once in a while. Expect a pitch. They'll go up looking for a pitch in a certain situation. That's a pitch that Jim Miller's lucky stayed in the ballpark. That's a backup curveball in the inner half. Donaldson kept it down into left field instead of hitting it over those trees.
Josh Donaldson's had a great spring with the bat. His first with the Blue Jays. Here's Danny Valencia. He struck out his first time up. Goes after the first pitch and skies it into shallow center field. Corey Brown calls for it. He's there, and Valencia's retired. 1 down. Danny Valencia, anxious to do something against a right-handed pitcher, went after a first pitch and got underneath it, popped it up.
And that's what a hitter will do on occasion. You're really just trying to do too much in that situation. Valencia, again, wants to prove to John Gibbons that he can handle righties, earn some more playing time, but get a little jumpy there and come out of your swing.
Blue Jays have had nothing but problems against the Rays up until last year. Last year they had a winning season for the first time since 2006 against Tampa Bay. Finished 11-8 for the season. They really had their problems down at Tropicana Field. From 2008 through 2013, they were 14-41. Down in Navarro with an exaggerated shift. Takes a strike on the corner. It's 0-2. That's Longoria, the third baseman, at straightaway shortstop. Beckham and Casilla on the right side of second base, along with Loney. Upstairs, Josh Donaldson with a leadoff single. Donaldson came into this game batting .345 for the spring with a couple of homers. Are you surprised that the Blue Jays haven't had a significant amount of phone calls about the availability of Diana Navarro?
And I'm not sure what the situation is there, but you would think as these spring camps progress forward here, catchers do get hurt. Are they looking for a full-time starting catcher, or would he be in a reserve role?
Navarro, we mentioned his great season a year ago. He played more than he'd ever played, and that was the big question going into the season, just how well will he hold up. Played 139 games, a career high, had a career high 132 hits. A terrific season. Had 12 homers, just one off his career high.
He's an offensive catcher, not his strength behind the plate. So if the team's looking for defense, they're probably looking somewhere else.
Ground ball. They'll go to second. Nice play by Longoria on the low throw, and they convert. The 4-5-3 double play to end the inning. Evan Longoria playing in that shift took the throw at second and turned it into 2. Copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. A spectacular day here in Dunedin. A lot of Canadians on hand and lots of folks enjoying the great weather down here. Miguel Castro came on with 2 outs in the 4th and got out of it. Throws a first pitch strike to Corey Brown, the center fielder. Castro, for his career in the minor leagues, 17-7. A 247 career earned run average in the minor leagues. And Joe, you just don't see numbers like that in the minors.
And the walks and strikeouts too. High-powered guy doesn't have trouble with walks. A lot of times you'll get that with the guys that throw the high fastballs.
There's a breaking ball in there for a strike. Corey Brown last season in AAA, 231, played for Pawtucket. Another off-speed pitch, and Brown strikes out, looks out to the mound, says, who is this guy?
I think a lot of the American League is going to know very soon who this guy is. Castro this time going to the slider. Russell Martin gives it a tap. Look at him, get the ball down, get it down in the ground. He wants that ball almost bounce with that glove, patting the ground. Castro gets it down there for him.
One out. Shortstop Tim Beckham takes the first pitch strike. Those of you in Vancouver know all about Miguel Castro. I got a chance to see him last year. He was the pitcher of the week in the Northwest League for the week of July 7th. He went 2-0 and had 13 strikeouts in 10 innings.
First pitch fastball at 97 there to Beckham.
And then a wipeout slider. I tell you what, the coaching staff has done a pretty good job of tempering their excitement about these two kids.
Well, there's a lot of reason for Blue Jays fans to be excited about the two pitchers we've seen today. We saw Osuna 95-97, Castro the same, but it's the secondary pitches that they have to go with it that is really impressive at such a young age.
Another wipeout slider, and Castro makes easy work for Tim Beckham. 2 up, 2 strikeouts.
Dane Johnson, Blue Jays bullpen coach, told me this morning that the changeup's probably his second best pitch, but he's been working on that slider, and this right here is showing it again. He's showing today that he's a 3-pitch pitcher.
Bobby Wilson, and just like Osuna, Castro's saying, get in the box, I'm ready to work.
He's got Rays hitters shaking their heads today.
97 on the first pitch, swung on and missed by Bobby Wilson.
And he has that late life. That's the one thing with Castro, that long, lean build of his, that gangly arms. You get a lot of arm width looking down in the zone with movement.
Inside off the plate, ball on the strike. Tuned it up a notch at 98. But he lost his command.
For a pitch.
Comes right back with a breaking ball, and that's a nasty breaking ball. There's a lot of depth to that slider.
That's unfair as a hitter to see 97, 98, and then a slider like that. That's almost unhittable.
Well, and the thing, too, if you look at Castro and watch his delivery, I mean, how many young pitchers have you seen in the past that just are flailing out there? That's not the case with Castro. Fouled off his foot, and that one's going to hurt.
It's a very repeatable delivery, and you hear that from pitching coaches all the time. And a repeatable delivery means you can stay small in your delivery, in your windup to get on time. You have to be on time with that throwing arm at that release point. He does it very well, and for a big man, a long, lean man, it's hard to repeat that normally. Castro does it very well.
2 balls, 2 strikes to Bobby Wilson with 2 outs. Bobby Wilson is a native of Dunedin. Still makes his home in the area. A couple of breaking balls. And right now, Russell Martin, excuse me, is just trying to see what he can do and what he can ask of this youngster.
He's feeling him out. I talked to Russell before the game about Osuna, and it's having a game plan. What is it that you want to do today?
Hit to third base. Donaldson has it. 3 up, 3 down for Miguel Castro. He's retired 4 straight since entering the ballgame. Lead. Roberto Osuna started this game for the Blue Jays, and he was impressive.
He was very good using that high-powered fastball. He was around 95 to 97. He mixed in the changeup and the slider as well. All three pitches, and what I really like today is that Russell Martin utilized all of them. He even called the cutter a couple of times, and this guy is going to be very special.
Roberto Osuna has a career total of 109 innings pitched in the minor leagues. Today's line was an impressive one. 3 2/3. He gave up a double to Desmond Jennings. He walked one and struck out two. And John Gibbons is going, now, why wouldn't I take that guy with me?
Well, I think the only decision the Blue Jays have is moving into the future. Do you want him as a starter or a reliever? These got starter stuff, these guys.
Yeah, and there's no reason not to break him in out of the bullpen.
It's a great way for a kid. We saw it with Aaron Sanchez last year.
Steve Tollison bunts it out in front of home. Bobby Wilson gets on it quickly and makes a strong throw out Tollison. 2-3 on the bunt attempt. Tollison trying to get aboard to start the inning.
It's a great way for a young pitcher to break in because, as Gibbons did with Sanchez last year, you start them out in low leverage situations, allow them to have some success. Success breeds some confidence, and we saw where that took Aaron Sanchez last year.
Two of the best Blue Jay pitchers in their franchise history started out their careers in the bullpen, and Jimmy Key in '84 had 10 saves, and Pat Henkin worked out of the bullpen leading up to his Cy Young Award. So it's not a bad place to start them. You can control their atmosphere. You get them in, get them out of games, put them in good situations, and put them in situations to succeed. Devin Travis doubled and scored in the third. Gets jammed on this pitch and hits a fly ball to right. Looked like Joey Butler didn't see it initially, but he stayed with it and made the catch. 2 down. Jim Miller in his second inning of work. The Rays are always in that rebuilding mode, especially in the bullpen. They have had a knack for turning over their bullpen and doing a very good job of it. Dalton Pompey, the young center fielder, batting left-handed for the first time. He's a switch hitter. Pompey's had a good spring. He and Kevin Pillar have been in a head-to-head battle playing at center field, and they have both played very well. Pillar got some good news today. He had an MRI on a strained oblique muscle, and he's been cleared to return to action. Pompey batting .324 for the spring. Pompey, this is his 13th game. Pillar has played in 9, missing about a week's worth of games. Kevin Pillar went through all the drills today. He took batting practice, shagged in the outfield, and pronounced himself ready to go. He will probably play on Wednesday in the regular spring training game. Blue Jays have the off day tomorrow, and Pillar might get a game in the minor leagues on Tuesday.
And with what we have seen this spring from Dalton Pompey and Kevin Pillar, and what we've seen in Toronto last September for Pompey, with the injury to Michael Saunders, I think John Gibbons would feel very comfortable with Pompey in center and Pillar in left field opening day.
Yeah, they're both very good defensively, and they have flip-flopped when they both have started. One in center, one in left. Off the plate inside, it's a full count.
Then you have the possibility of Devin Travis at second base. So you've got a lot of youth in that lineup. But following all of those big boys, what we've seen this spring, I think it's a nice mixture of the youth with the veterans.
Brian Goins is on deck. That's the spot occupied previously by Jose Reyes. There's a high fly ball, and Joey Butler doesn't see it again. Now he finds it. Almost in his tracks. Makes the catch. 3 up, 3 down. Blue Jays go quietly in their half of the 5th. The top of the 6th inning, Blue Jays lead it 2-0. They've out-hit the Rays 4-2, and both starters and reliever for the Jays have been impressive. Roberto Osuna and Miguel Castro. They have done a nice job throwing a lot of strikes, and Castro has retired 4 batters since coming into the game with a couple of strikeouts, and now he'll face the top of the Rays order, John Jaso, Alexi Casilla, and Desmond Jennings. Jaso has gone over 2, pop out and a strikeout. He goes after the first pitch. It's a grounder. Devin Travis gobbles it up, 1 down. Derek Barton is at first base now as he's come on defensively, taking over at first.
Second baseman, number 10, Alexi Casilla.
Second baseman Alexi Casilla has popped out twice. Well, Castro just continues to pound the strike zone, and they're quality pitches.
And that's 97 miles per hour with 2-seam action down in the zone. That's about as good as it gets in terms of that downhill movement.
Off-speed pitch, beaten foul into the ground.
Because of his size, there's not a problem getting on top of the baseball. Big, long, lean body, and he gets that arm up, but the ability to work downhill and keep that ball down in the zone, he's got that natural life. That's what Russell Martin talked about when I first asked him about Castro. Just natural life down the zone.
Russell Martin's having quite a day, getting the chance to work with 2 20-year-old pitchers, and they all have the ability to throw any pitch at any time. Another off-speed pitch and a strikeout. That's 3 strikeouts for Castro.
This is where the veteran catcher comes into play, too. The previous pitch was a slider called by Martin, but Castro left it up and hung it, didn't throw it good. What's he do? Comes right back with that same pitch. That's what you do with a young pitcher to gain his confidence back. Castro got it right back the next pitch.
Well, that's when the feeling is freshest in a pitcher's mind. You throw one bad one, come right back, and he can make the adjustment. First time Martin caught Castro, he had a couple of easy outs on fastballs, and he calls for another fastball, and he got shaken off. Threw his first pitch slider for a strike. Castro shook to the slider.
How about the kid shaking off the wily veteran? But you know, that impressed Russell Martin. That tells you a lot as a catcher about that young kid out there and his confidence.
We have seen young pitchers over the years come into a major league game and just try to impress with raw velocity. And both these two have impressed with their stuff, but their composure, their command, and their ability to command the strike zone.
And I think, again, a lot of that credit is due to the guy behind the plate. Pete Walker's talked just raving reviews about Russell Martin behind the plate.
Desmond Jennings has another hit. He's been aboard all 3 times this afternoon. 2 hits and a walk. He just loves to see the Blue Jays uniform. Doesn't matter where they're playing or when. He has always hit well against the Blue Jays. So another test for young Miguel Castro. He'll work out of the stretch to Evan Longoria. Third baseman has been hit by a pitch and popped out to the catcher. Fastball at the knees. And Longoria, he'll take these at-bats in spring training and try to get some information about these young pitchers. And you can bet this third at-bat is a valuable one for Longoria. And he's behind 0-2.
And a veteran hitter has to be very impressed. You saw him look back at home plate umpire Marty Foster after that first pitch, 97 with good sink down in the zone. Longoria thought it was down, but he also probably thought it was unhittable.
Now that's a weak swing from a great hitter.
You can ask a lot of scouts, but you have to trust your eyes. You can look at the radar gun, but if there is no radar gun, no visual other than watching the hitter's swings will tell you an awful lot. When you have a hitter like Longoria in the batter's box in a 1-1 count and he takes a hack like that, you know he is not comfortable.
Changeup inside. Longoria jumps back out of the way. Miguel Castro came into the game with a runner at second base and 2 outs in the 4th, and got out of that. Got a fly ball off the bat of Joey Butler. What an impressive outing for Miguel Castro. 4 strikeouts, including a strikeout of Evan Longoria to end the 6th.
Jay's season at jshop.ca, the largest selection of online authentic Blue Jays caps, t-shirts, jerseys, and more. Visit jshop.ca or call 1-877-JSHOP. Buck.
Thank you, Barry. As we move to the bottom of the 6th, we are pleased to be joined now by the skipper of the Toronto Blue Jays, John Gibbons. And John, you had a perfect seat to watch your 2 young pitchers work today, and you got a big smile on your face. Not a bad day.
Yeah, well, why wouldn't you smile? I tell you what, Buck, they were both really impressive. I thought Russell did a great job with both of them, getting all their pitches out of them. And, the 2 youngsters, but they put themselves on the map, and they both got a shot at helping us this year where, our bullpen's been wide open, and they're taking advantage of it. But, they got those power arms. The league really doesn't know them. We think they have great futures regardless, so maybe they're ready.
John, what does that tell you when you see these kids with the high-octane fastballs, but then it's the secondary pitches that they don't seem to be afraid to throw them at any time in the count?
Well, that's a key thing. There's a lot of good fastballs in this game that they get hit if that's what you have to rely on. You still have to be able to throw your off-speed stuff behind the count at this level to be successful. And for 2 youngsters with great arms, they're both really ahead of the game with their command. And that's really why they're there's an opportunity for them here possibly. So, we're proud of both of them. I know they both felt great coming out of that game. And when you talk to your catchers, a guy like Russell that's been around a long time, and when he's impressed, that means something.
Yeah, he did a nice job with them both today. And speak a little bit about Russell as well. Not only what he brings behind the plate, but he had a very impressive at-bat in the 1st inning that led to your first run.
Well, guys know how it is. If he's hitting in that 2-hole, Reyes is going to hit some doubles, get on some singles, steal second base. And a big part of that job is getting that guy to third base for Batista to pick up those RBIs. And Russell's, he's just a real pro. He's been around. He understands different roles, where he's hitting the lineup, and he really understands how winning baseball is played. And that was a perfect example of it there. And then, he's been so locked in on, getting to know the pitching staff this spring. I think his timing's a little bit off of the plate, but you can see little by little that's starting to come around.
Ryan Goins batting for Reyes as he entered the ball game defensively, grounds out to the third baseman.
John, how important is that bringing Russell Martin and Josh Donaldson, not necessarily just 2 tremendous talents, what they bring to the table, but these guys have won where they've come from. Can that help you with the rest of your squad?
Oh, yeah, that's a big part of it. And, don't forget Michael Saunders, too, who's another guy we brought in that's, he's a winning type player. You look at our team the last couple of years, and really, other than Burley, Reyes got to the postseason. I think it was once or twice with the Mets, but that was about it. And you got to learn how to win. And so, Donaldson, of course, out there in Oakland, and Russell with the Dodgers, Yankees, and Pittsburgh. That's all they did was win. And so that's, in those tough times. Those guys, they may have the right thing to say, or they come through at the right time. I put you over the top, and because they've been there before, and there's something to be said for that. I don't care what level that you're at.
John, obviously you have a chance now to look at Devin Travis, and lately he's really been swinging the bat well. And how has that picture played out?
Well, I tell you what, Buck. I got a chance to speak to Jimmy Leland, Brad Osmus over there in Detroit. And they said, this kid can really hit. It wasn't a knock against him defensively, but he said, he's a better hitter right now than he is defensively. But I think he's played great defense too. But he's one guy. For a young guy, he steps in that box. He looks like a hitter. He's got a real good, solid approach. And he's another guy. You talk about Donaldson and Martin. This guy's got the winning type attitude. He's a winning player. That's almost the greatest compliment you give to anybody. I don't care how good you are as an individual player, the stats you put up. You want to be known as a winner, and he's another guy like that.
You should go down there and congratulate Russell Martin now for hitting that home run.
Was that Russell?
We didn't want to interfere with your great commentary there, but no, Russell went deep to right center, and that's a good shot for him. So he's probably done for the afternoon, huh?
Yeah, he's done. All these guys played yesterday, and they played a few innings today. It's been so hot out here. You start getting injuries when guys start getting dehydrated and things like that. And then we got some older players, and I think we're going to start peaking at the right time. We got a couple weeks left, and I think we're going to hit our stride just at the right time.
This ball has popped out of play. John, you've made the announcement that you're going to start out the season with Brett Cecil as your closer.
Well, we haven't totally announced that, but as of today, he's kind of the logical guy. He threw in the minor leagues yesterday and felt great. So that's big for us. Because there was a little bit of doubt there. You never really know. But if season started tomorrow, yeah, he'd be that guy. And then we'll see how it develops. You never want with such a. We don't really have roles yet necessarily. We have some guys that have been here before, but not many of them. So they can kind of pitch yourself into more important roles the better they pitch.
That's a big thing. You always tell a pitcher, hey, you get more outs, your role gets bigger.
That's exactly right. We're here to win, right?
John, thanks for your time. We appreciate it.
All right, guys.
That's John Gibbons, the skipper of the Toronto Blue Jays, and certainly has to be pleased with what he saw from his two young pitchers today. So far, Castro and Osuna have been impressive. It's interesting, too, his thoughts about Devin Travis, and he mentioned Travis, too, is a guy that has played in winning situations before. We mentioned he played in the College World Series twice with the Florida State Seminoles. He also played in the Little League World Series. Went to the championship game and played against Japan, so he's been a winner his whole life. Diane Viciedo into the game defensively, gets his first at bat, grounds out to the second baseman. We'll go to the seventh. Blue Jays have a 3-0 lead thanks to Russell Martin's solo home run.
Hockey fans, it is Sunday, and that means Rogers hometown hockey tonight on City. The Vancouver Canucks take on the Phoenix Coyotes. Ron McLean hosts from the Sportsnet mobile studio in Prince George, British Columbia. That's 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific on City. Buck?
Thank you, Barry. We are set for the 7th. The new Blue Jays pitcher will be the left-hander Colt Hines, who's had a good spring so far, Joe.
Colt Hines been outstanding. He's vying for one of those left-handed spots in the bullpen. If Brett Cecil is the closer, does John Gibbons want another lefty to complement Aaron Loup down there? 6 innings. He's only given 6 outings this spring in 5 2/3. He's only given up 1 hit. He's been really outstanding. Blue Jays picked him up off waivers from the Dodgers last August.
So he gets a test right out of the chute, lefty on lefty, and this would be his role. James Loney has grounded out twice so far. Blue Jays have scored 3 runs on 5 hits. Tampa Bay no runs on 3 hits. Loney grounds out. Ryan Goins has moved from shortstop to second. Throws him out. 1 down. Well, Colt Hines is trying to secure a spot in this bullpen. And as John Gibbons told us, bullpen is really wide open right now. The 2 pitchers that worked ahead of Hines, Roberto Osuna, went 3 2/3. He gave up 2 hits, no runs, walked a batter, and struck out 2. And then Miguel Castro goes 2 1/3, 1 hit, no walks, 4 strikeouts. Again, he was impressive. Right fielder Joey Butler has singled in, flied out. Colt Hines is a little bit like Aaron Loup, and he has that crossfire delivery, drops down a little high 3/4 delivery.
Very similar. Velocity will be around 90. Aaron Loup will get it up around 92 to 94, but slider and a changeup to go with it.
Well, one thing the Blue Jays really want to improve upon is their ability to throw strikes. Last year in the American League, they were 4th in walks allowed. They walked 490. And also, when you walk people, then you're 4th in home runs allowed. It's a bad combination. So they have been impressed in the way that Hines has thrown strikes. And there he drops that backdoor breaking ball in there for a strikeout.
When a left-handed pitcher can do this to a righty, that's a backdoor slider. Josh Tolley set up out there. Good job by the catcher in his setup. Hines starts this slider off the plate away. As a right-hand hitter, you give up on that pitch. You think it's off the plate, comes back and just catches the outer third.
Tolley behind the plate, and he, of course, really his situation is uncertain with this ball club to this point. But he has been a personal catcher, if you will, of R.A. Dickey the last several years, including their time back with the New York Mets. He has not caught Dickey this spring, as Russell Martin's caught him trying to get comfortable. Corey Brown flies out to right field. Good inning for Colt Hines. 3 up, 3 down with a strikeout.
become the biggest and most popular giveaway of the Blue Jays season. It is the bobblehead dates, and there are 4 of them this season, including Jose Bautista on Sunday, April the 19th. That is the first of the year. The first 20,000 fans in each game receive a bobblehead. Call 416-341-1234 for tickets. And guys, if there is a Castro bobblehead, I don't know if they'll find a box big enough to put it in, because he is one tall young man.
He's 6'5", and you can bet if they keep pitching like that, they'll have an Osuna and a Castro bobblehead down the road sometime. Derek Barton will get his first at bat. He took over defensively at first base, taking over for Danny Valencia. Valencia went 0 for 2 in his 2 plate appearances today. Barton fouled off down that third base side, taking a shot to start things off. 207 average for the spring. He has been in 11 games, had 29 at bats. He and Justin Smoke are embroiled in a battle for the first base spot. Smoke and Barton both had a good day the other day against Tampa Bay. Derek had a couple of doubles while Justin Smoke had 2 home runs.
Both of them have gotten off to a slow start in the spring, but heating up of late, so it'll be interesting to see how this shapes up in the next couple of weeks.
They're both good defenders. Barton is a right-handed throwing first baseman, while the switch-hitting Smoke is a left-handed fielding first baseman. And they can both really play defensively at first. He went around. Barton asked for home plate umpire Marty Foster to check, but he calls him out for the swing. Mike Montgomery in his second inning of work. There is Smoke along with Devin Travis, and Smoke has had some good power years playing for the Seattle Mariners. He's had seasons of 15, 19, and 20 home runs for the Mariners.
And that's why the Blue Jays aren't too concerned with the spring. I talked to Justin this morning, and he's continuing to work on things. He's been working tirelessly with hitting coach Brooke Jacoby and assistant hitting coach Eric Owens, trying things. And when you're working on things in the batting cage, it takes time to transfer that into game situations, live speed. It's all about timing.
Gianni Navarro has been the DH all afternoon. He has gone 0 for 2 so far. He had 1 at bat, batting left-handed against Jim Miller, hit into a double play. This is his second at bat against the lefty. Blue Jays as a team came into this game for the spring batting .265. They have added a home run today. They won off the bat of Russell Martin. They now have 15 homers. There's a fly ball to right. One down.
The third baseman, number 66.
Good day for John Gibbons. He got a chance to get another look at his young pitchers, Roberto Osuna and Miguel Castro. Also Cole Hines, who's in the mix for a spot in the bullpen. Munenori Kawasaki gets his first at bat. He came into the game as a defensive replacement. Grounded to short. Beckham waits on it, takes his time, just in time to get Kawasaki. 3 up, 3 down in the 7th. We move to the 8th. 3-0 Jays against Tampa Bay.
Don't miss the current issue of Sportsnet magazine. It's the Blue Jays season preview edition, having everything you need to get you ready for the upcoming season. It is on newsstands now. Buck and Joe, I know you have your copies.
We do, and we're anxious to pour through them and get all the latest on what's going on with the Blue Jays and the rest of the sports world. Check it out, Sportsnet magazine. New pitcher into the game is Bo Schultz. He too has pitched well this spring. 8 innings in total, just 2 hits allowed.
Schultz has got a good arm. Fastball will be up around 95 miles per hour. Pitched in 5 games. He's only given up a couple of hits in his 8 innings of work. Kept opposing hitters to below 100 average. Schultz was claimed off waivers from the Diamondbacks last October. Pitched in 4 games for Arizona last season, but this is another one of those intriguing arms. Could be a candidate for that Blue Jays bullpen.
He's got a big arm, and he has pitched very well, as those numbers would reflect. Claimed off waivers on the 7th of October last year. Shatters the bat of Tim Beckman. 1 down on 1 pitch. Let's check in with Barry Davis.
Thanks a lot, Buck. And Bo Schultz is a guy who was introduced to baseball at a much later age. Didn't play it through high school. In fact, he went to college to study journalism. He wanted to become a sports writer. And during that time, he started to play in a men's slow-pitch beer league as an outfielder. He eventually loved the game, decided to try his luck as a walk-on. He was an outfielder, but once they saw him make that throw from the outfield, they said, maybe you have to pitch. And as you see now, he's up at 98 miles an hour. It was a very good decision to get out of softball, out of journalism, and onto a major league mound.
It was very good, and he went to Northwestern, so he was in a good spot to get a good education, and now the baseball thing has worked out well for him. Bobby Wilson, the catcher, has been in there all afternoon. We mentioned Bobby Wilson. He was born in Dunedin. Got to the big leagues. He broke camp with the Angels in 2010, made his first opening day roster. And anytime you play for the Angels and their manager Mike Socia, you've got to be a pretty good catcher, and Bobby Wilson is certainly that.
Nice to have one of the best as your manager, working hands-on every day.
Pulled to third, knocked down by Kawasaki, and Wilson's going to reach. Boy, that was a wicked hop. That second hop really had a lot of topspin on it. Handcuffed Kawasaki at third. It's an error on Munenori.
Well, Wilson hit the ball hard, but as a third baseman, that's what you want to do, is read the bounce. And sometimes, instead of charging the ball like you always hear, you've got to back up on it. Munenori got caught in between here at the last second. He takes a step back, but that hop still eats him up.
Pinch runner at first for
number 28,
Bobby Wilson. Leonardo Reginado is into the game as a pinch runner. Looks like he wants to run. John Jaso has been the DH. He has gone 0 for 3 so far with a strikeout. Nothing Blue Jays, and the Blue Jays have really handcuffed the Rays hitters all afternoon. Tampa Bay with just 3 hits. Desmond Jennings has 2 of those 3 hits. Joey Butler has the other. Fouled back. Bo Schultz certainly a candidate to grab a spot in that bullpen. And the Blue Jays obviously have had some turnover in their bullpen. Casey Jansen, Sergio Santos, Dustin McGowan, all no longer with the Blue Jays. Downstairs.
Schultz at 29 years old, just got his first taste in the big leagues last season. Certainly at his point in his career where it's time to make that move and try to stick with the big league club.
Had an interesting experience last year. He pitched in a major league game in Australia. Diamondbacks and Dodgers opened up the season. Goins thought about second, had enough time to recover, and nobody is covering third. Now everybody sees it late. Because of the shift, Kawasaki was near shortstop. Goins looked up. Kawasaki wasn't at second, but he was able to make the throw to first. Watch the defensive alignment here.
And this is what the shift will do at times. You're trying to guard against the ground balls that are hit to that side of the field, but now you put people in positions that they're not necessarily ready to. Ryan Goins is ready to flip that ball to second base, but Kawasaki as a third baseman was not thinking I have to cover the bag there, so it really brings in that question. But nice job by Goins on the recovery, and that's how good he is, making that good throw to first base.
Yeah, Ryan Goins is a natural shortstop, and because of that he's got range and arm strength, so he's able to recover and record the out at first. Eugenio Velez has entered the game defensively. He is batting for the first time. Eugenio Velez with his first at bat. Velez played in Nashville last year, hit .309 in 116 games for the AAA Rays.
This is what Bo Schultz needs to do right here. Even though he's got the high-powered fastball, you still need to work down in the zone. He's gotten 3 ground balls this inning, and that's what he's after. He can be a great value to John Gibbons. He can keep pitching like that.
Ball and a strike, 2 outs. There's a strike. Now it's 1-2. Velez has spent time with the Blue Jays. He was released in 2013 by the Blue Jays after playing at Buffalo, and ended up with the Milwaukee Brewers and finished up in Nashville. Played in Nashville last year. That was in the Brewers system, and he has signed as a minor league free agent here with the Rays. He signed on the 15th of December. He gets jammed, and Diaz at short, unloads in a hurry. Good inning for Bo Diaz. Bo Schultz, excuse me. We'll move to the bottom of the 8th. The Blue Jays lead at 3-0.
Fans, Junior J's Saturdays return in 2015, presented by Boston Pizza. Special price tickets in the 200 and 500 level outfield seats. And after the game, here's the fun part. Kids 14 and under can run the bases just like the pros. 416-341-1234 for tickets, or go to BlueJays.com. Buck?
Thank you, Barry. Always very popular, the Junior J Saturday. Bottom of the 8th inning. Jonathan Diaz, who entered the game defensively, will bat in the 8th spot. Mike Montgomery is in the ball game, and he has had a good outing. Montgomery allowed just one hit. That was the solo home run off the bat of Russell Martin. Pulled down to third base. Long throw on the money. What an arm. That is a youngster, Schaefer, with a cannon for an arm, and he hit a home run against the Blue Jays last time he was here.
And that's why they call it the hot corner. That ball is going for extra bases into the left field corner. Schaefer getting a good jump. That's that first move that's so important for a third baseman. You're shallower than the middle infielders, not as much time to react. Schaefer's all over that one.
Richie Schaefer played at Montgomery, Double-A, hit 19 home runs a year ago, and boy, he showed off a cannon for an arm. Ezekiel Carrera took over defensively in center field. This is his first at bat. Carrera's had a rough spring. Just 2 for 30 so far this spring. And high hopes coming into camp, and he just didn't get the bat going.
Well, Carrera is one that has struggled with the bat offensively. He's more of a defensive outfielder with good speed.
Nice play at second. A lot of these minor leaguers for the Rays getting an opportunity to play here. Not sure who that young man is, but that's going to be it for Mike Montgomery. The left-hander had a good outing, allowed just one hit. His day is done. We'll have a new pitcher when we come back to Dunedin. For the Rays is Kirby Yates. He takes over with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 8th.
Yates pitched in 37 games for the Rays last season, 3.75 ERA. This is his 6th spring game for Tampa. On 5 1/3 innings, 5 hits, a few walks, and 6 strikeouts. He last worked Tuesday against the Phillies, going 1 2/3 scoreless with a strikeout.
Ryan Goins grounded out his only previous at bat this afternoon. Took over for Jose Reyes, who had another good day at the plate. Reyes had a double, scored a run, and drove in a run in 2 at bats. Goins has had a good spring and swinging the bat well, and in this ball game batting .333. He was 10 for 30. He's had a home run, a double, and a triple. Ryan has freed himself up. He was dealing with a lot of changes last year mechanically. Kevin Seitzer worked with him, and he was trying to do some different things and got off to a slow start and was eventually sent to the minor leagues.
Sometimes it's difficult for a young player, too. You get to the big leagues, and coaches want you to do certain things, so of course you want to be a good pupil.
That ball, a little fly ball into center field, and Goins has retired. They'll go to the ninth. The Blue Jays lead Tampa Bay 3-0. Mark, with the Scots, we've begun. Kills weeds, not lawns.
Russell Martin has done it both offensively and defensively today. In the 6th inning, he got this pitch out over the plate, and he got one up in the jet stream in right center field. This put the Blue Jays up 3-0 with the outstanding job he's done behind the plate, handling his young pitchers. Blue Jays are in cruise control here in the 9th.
Russell Martin's had a better finish to his spring than a start, but he was working hard just trying to get comfortable with the pitching staff. First time he's worked with these guys.
And you look at Martin's at-bats today. It started in the 1st inning on a 3-1 pitch. He gets Jose Reyes over to third base by purposely staying inside the ball, shooting something to the right side. In the 6th inning, he takes that same approach but drives the ball to right center field. Outstanding contributions from Martin today.
Chad Jenkins trying to wrap this up here in the 9th. Roberto Osuna, Miguel Castro, Colt Hines, Bull Schultz, and now Chad Jenkins worked for the Blue Jays today. Ball and a strike to Richie Schaefer, who made that terrific defensive play at third base. Good-looking young third baseman. Power in the minors. We mentioned he had a home run here against the Blue Jays last time he was here in Dunedin. Hasn't had an awful lot of at-bats, just 4 at-bats so far this spring. 3 for 4, though, not a bad spring, including a home run and 3 RBIs.
Make an impression when you're given the opportunity.
He just looks like a hitter, doesn't he?
He's looking hitterish in the box.
Tough pitch right there as Jenkins locates that sinking fastball down and away for the strikeout.
Jenkins has had a bit of a rough spring. He's pitched in 5 games, but giving up 5 runs. This time it's following up the slider away. Josh Tolley setting up away, and he just paints that outside corner with the 2-seam fastball. Starts it off the plate away, just comes back over. Nice setup. Nice job receiving the baseball there by Tolley.
Chad had his best season last year in games pitched in the majors. He pitched in a career-high 21 ball games, worked a total of 31 2/3 innings, and did a good job. He went back and forth between AAA Buffalo and the Blue Jays 5 different times. Well, there's a lot of good sink on that fastball.
He's a classic sinker slider guy, but one thing Chad does, he's a big guy. When he gets on top of that baseball and is down in the zone, he's got good downward rotation. He gets that sink and lots of ground balls. He gets in trouble when he elevates it a little bit and that thing flattens out.
Jenkins with an opportunity to pitch his way into this bullpen, no doubt about that.
And unfortunately for Chad, he still has options left on his contract if that comes into play. But if he can have a good couple of weeks here to close out spring training, he can make an impression and maybe stick with his club.
That hit the batter, Yunel Cudo, the second baseman, and he'll go to first base. Well, the Blue Jays, they have a tough first month of the season. 19 of their 23 games in April against the AL East. They've got to get off to a good start. They played Baltimore 9 games in the first 6 weeks of the season. And 28 of their first 35 games, all against the American League East.
You have to play well in your division, and the Blue Jays are going to find out in that first month in a little bit where they stand.
This is Taylor Motter, who has taken over in right field. He played at AA last year. Hit 16 home runs. Some of the coaches on this Rays staff characterize him as their new Ben Zobrist. He can play all over the field. He got some speed, had 15 steals in AA last year. Ball and a strike.
One thing Jenkins can do as a sinker ball pitcher too is he can be very efficient with his pitch count. Runner gets on first base, a situation right here. He is one pitch away from getting out of this inning with a ground ball.
There's a ground ball, but this one's foul.
Sinker ball pitchers like Jenkins, when you get that ball going down in the zone, hitters swing on top. You saw Motter right there. They hit the top of the baseball. It's destined to go into the ground. In this situation, he's one pitch away from ending this ball game.
Jenkins' season a year ago ended up on the disabled list. He fractured his hand during batting practice down Tropicana Field. This ball is well foul. He needs to improve his numbers against lefty hitters. A year ago, they had 315 against him compared to a 227 average for right-handed hitters.
And usually a changeup or a cutter, something else. He needs something else against those left-handed hitters.
And an off-speed pitch, and Motter strikes out.
It's a good slider by Jenkins right there, getting Motter to chase. The previous pitch, he left a slider up in the zone hanging, and Motter almost hit a home run, just foul. This time he comes back with a very good one. Good depth on that pitch going down in the zone. Motter swung right over top of it.
Patrick Leonard batting in the right fielder's spot, Joey Butler, and he goes after that first pitch. Leonard, one of the minor league players they brought along today. Port Charlotte, that's where he played his A-ball season last year, where the Rays have their spring training. Cut on and fouled off the glove of Josh Tolley. It's now 1-2. Blue Jays a strike away from winning their 12th game of the spring. Blue Jays pitchers racked up 9 strikeouts so far this afternoon. Make it 10, and that'll end it. Chad Jenkins strikes out the side in the 9th inning to punctuate a good day for the Blue Jays pitchers.
Well, it's an outstanding day, and Roberto Osuna got it off to the right on the right foot, 3 2/3. Miguel Castro comes with 2 1/3 after. Combined, they struck out 6. This is the future of the Blue Jays pitching right here. We may see these 2 young kids sooner rather than later.
Well, the Blue Jays, they manufactured a couple of runs early in the ball game. Russell Martin connected for his first home run and RBI of the spring, and I guess the most impressive aspect was the continuing development of the pitching staff. There you see the numbers for the day. Osuna 2 2/3, 2 hits, walked 1, struck out 2. Castro was outstanding. Russell Martin, his first home run of the spring. The Blue Jays win it 3-0. They improve for the spring to 12-8. That's it from the booth. Now let's go down to Barry Davis, who will wrap things up.
A reminder, fans, our next broadcast comes your way this Friday, March the 27th, when the Blue Jays host the Detroit Tigers right here in Dunedin. A 1 o'clock start. The Jays and the Tigers. For Buck Martinez and Joe Siddle, I'm Barry Davis. Thanks so much for joining us and watching the Blue Jays beat the Tampa Bay Rays by a score of 3-0.